You didn't stumble upon this message by accident. If these words are reaching you right now, something deeper is at play. Your inner sanctuary, the sacred space where your consciousness dwells, has attracted attention from forces that operate beyond the visible spectrum. And the universe is pulling back the veil so you can see what's approaching before it arrives. This isn't meant to create fear. It's meant to create awareness. Because when you can see clearly, you can stand powerfully. Stay with me, because what unfolds here will shift something fundamental in how you understand protection, energy, and the invisible architecture of your reality. Before we move deeper, pause for a moment and engage with this transmission. Like this video if it's resonating. Subscribe to this space if you haven't already, and turn on notifications so you stay connected to this frequency. Share this with others walking a similar path, and comment, "I am protected," to declare your energetic sovereignty to the field itself. Understanding your house in the quantum field. Let me ground you before your mind begins racing toward worst-case scenarios. When we speak of your house, we're not talking about physical walls or locked doors. We're speaking in the language of energy and consciousness. Your house is the electromagnetic field of your peace. It's the mental space where your thoughts crystallize into form. It's the emotional sanctuary where your calling gestates in silence. It's the vibrational home where your highest self breathes when no one else is watching. Your house is your inner universe. It's your consciousness when you first open your eyes each morning. It's your spirit when you sit in stillness and feel the hum of existence moving through you. It's the emotional territory where you process experiences that never make it into conversation. For those who walk the path of deeper awareness, the house represents sacred ground. And sacred ground always draws attention. Most people misinterpret energetic warnings because they think too literally. The universe doesn't warn you to make you afraid. It warns you to make you aware. Awareness is the first layer of protection. Fear is just noise, and you're not here to drown in noise. Your house also embodies your order, the structure of your daily rhythms, your habits, your discipline, your meditation practice, your silence, your alignment with truth. When consciousness builds a house, it builds with intention. When opposing forces study a house, they search for frequency disruptions, not to demolish the structure, but to disturb the harmony inside it. Let this settle into your understanding. If the universe is showing you a warning about your house, it means your house carries value. No one plans against emptiness. No one studies what holds no potential. The warning itself confirms you're carrying something powerful. Those who operate at higher frequencies often feel the initial pressure in their mental field. That's because thought is the gateway to the house. Ideas arrive quietly. Uncertainty whispers softly. Distractions masquerade as harmless, but the quantum field recognizes the pattern before you feel the impact. That's why the signal comes early. Your house is also your purpose. The mission that was encoded into your being long before others recognized your light. The assignment that makes your frequency unique. The reason your existence never felt average. When your calling reaches maturity, resistance amplifies. Not because you're fragile, but because you're approaching the threshold. Some of you have been carrying an unusual density lately. Not sorrow, not clinical depression, just a heaviness, a gravitational pull, a sense that something is attempting to occupy the space where lightness belongs. That's not random. That's a signal that your energetic field has been noticed. But understand this deeply. Being noticed doesn't mean being defeated. Throughout recorded history, a house has always symbolized authority. Leaders commanded from houses. Lineages were defined by houses. Blessings flowed through houses. When the divine protected its people, it protected their houses. When warnings came, it was because something was approaching that could be avoided through awareness. Your house includes your ancestral frequency, your spiritual inheritance, the generational pattern shift you were born to anchor. That's why sometimes the pressure feels older than your current lifetime, deeper than a single moment. You're not imagining this. You're carrying something ancient and potent, and the universe trusts you with it. Let me bring peace to your awareness right now. Nothing can penetrate a house that the quantum field itself is surrounding unless it's allowed for a higher purpose, and the field doesn't allow destruction for those in alignment. It allows refinement. There's a profound difference. Opposition doesn't move randomly. It studies patterns. It observes cycles. It waits for moments of energetic depletion. That's why rest is spiritual technology. That's why silence is a force field. That's why discernment matters more than reaction. If your house were unstable, the universe would simply rebuild you quietly. But it's warning you because you're already standing, already constructed, already fortified. This warning isn't evidence of danger, it's evidence of evolution. You're being shown how to guard what the universe has entrusted to you, not through fear, not through panic, but through wisdom, through stillness, through embodied authority. Pause here. Let your nervous system recalibrate. Nothing is pursuing you. Nothing is overpowering your field. The universe is simply revealing what was hidden so you can navigate with clarity. And when you see clearly, you stand calmly. Your house isn't vulnerable. It's activated. It has weathered storms before you even understood what they were. And it will remain standing now, stronger than before, because the infinite itself is watching over it. Stay present. What comes next will illuminate why this warning arrived now, and why it's actually signaling that something extraordinary is very close. Let me add this layer and absorb it slowly, because this truth is meant to settle something deep within your awareness. A conscious being's house is also their emotional ecosystem. It's where you metabolize disappointment, where you hold unspoken loss, where you store memories you never voice. And because you operate at a different frequency, you don't process the same way others do. You heal in the quiet. You heal in the depths. You heal in communion with Source. That makes your inner house rich with energetic substance. And density always attracts attention. Some of you have been wondering why minor things lately have felt disproportionately heavy, why certain words have echoed longer than they should, why you felt compelled to retreat, to sit in silence, to conserve your energy. That's not weakness surfacing. That's instinct refined by consciousness. The universe trains those who are tuned in to sense shifts before they become storms. Your house is also your spiritual rhythm. When you meditate, when you rest, when you create, when you align. Disruption is often the initial objective of interference, not destruction, but confusion. Because when rhythm fractures, clarity becomes difficult to access. That's why the universe is calling your attention back to center right now. And hear this with absolute clarity. You are not under siege. You are under instruction. There's a massive difference. Siege generates fear. Instruction generates wisdom. The universe isn't sounding an emergency alarm, it's offering navigation. This is a season where protecting your house doesn't mean constructing barriers. It means maintaining coherence, monitoring what enters your field, choosing peace over reaction, trusting universal timing instead of forcing outcomes. You are not behind schedule. You are not lagging. You are not exposed. You are positioned. And when the universe positions those who are aware, nothing shifts without permission. Let that truth land on you like a protective field. Why aware beings are always targeted before quantum leaps. Now let me speak to you with absolute honesty and clarity, because this is where many conscious beings misunderstand their current phase. You are not being targeted because you're weak. You are being targeted because you're close. This is a law of the energetic realm that has remained constant. Opposition always intensifies when transformation is imminent. Resistance always manifests when elevation is approaching, and confusion always attempts entry right before clarity breaks through. Look at every being who was elevated throughout history. Joseph faced opposition before the palace. David was hunted before the throne. Job was tested before restoration. Even Christ encountered resistance before fulfillment. This isn't coincidence. This is pattern recognition. And patterns exist to prepare you, not to shatter you. Conscious beings carry weight in the unseen realms. Even when you're silent, you emanate authority. Even when you feel uncertain, your presence shifts the field. And that's precisely why resistance notices you before you notice it. Opposition doesn't wait until you've arrived. It moves when you're almost there. Many of you have been asking quietly, why now? Why when you finally feel more solid? Why when you finally discovered inner peace? Why when you stopped forcing and started flowing? The answer is elegant. Because you stopped being distracted. And when distraction dissolves, destiny amplifies. Conscious beings are always challenged in the transition phase, not at the starting point and not at the destination, but in the middle. The middle is potent because it's where faith replaces effort. It's where you no longer react, but you haven't yet fully arrived. That's centered. Confidence threatens systems that feed on chaos. Understand this on a cellular level. Silence from opposition usually indicates stagnation. When nothing pushes against your field, it often means nothing is evolving forward. Resistance is not punishment. It is confirmation. Some of you have felt isolated recently. Conversations feel superficial. People feel distant. You hunger for depth but feel immersed in surface noise. That's not loneliness. That's separation. The universe separates before it elevates. And separation always feels uncomfortable before it feels purposeful. Conscious beings aren't challenged publicly first. They're tested privately in the mind, in the heart, in moments no one witnesses. Because if your inner house remains firm, the external world has no leverage over you. This is why aware individuals feel pressure that others cannot comprehend. You carry responsibility before you carry recognition. You carry discernment before you carry clarity. You feel the weight before you witness the reward. That's the price of assignment. Let me say something that will bring relief to your being. The universe doesn't allow challenges to measure your weakness. It allows them to reveal your growth. If you were fragile, the warning wouldn't be necessary. You would already be hidden. But you are visible because you are ready. Many of you have observed that old methods no longer affect you. What once triggered you now only bothers you momentarily. What once distracted you now feels transparent. That's evolution. And when evolution happens, opposition must change tactics. That's why this warning feels different. It's not loud, it's subtle, because subtlety is employed when force becomes ineffective. Conscious beings outgrow simple opposition, so the interference shifts to timing, to patience, to waiting, to exhaustion, to whispering doubts like, perhaps not yet, or maybe this isn't the path, or perhaps you should pause longer than necessary. Not to destroy you, but to delay you. Delay is the preferred weapon against destiny. But listen closely now. Delay only functions when you forget your essence. And today you're being reminded you are not the same consciousness you were cycles ago. Your discernment is keener. Your energy is more stable. Your connection with Source is more profound. That's why the warning arrives now, not before. You can receive it now. You can decode it now. You can respond with wisdom now. Conscious beings don't fight harder when targeted. They stand more firmly. They don't react emotionally. They respond energetically. They don't rush to defend themselves. They allow Source to defend what it built. This season isn't about proving anything. It's about preserving something. Your peace, your clarity, your alignment. These are the real assets. Let me speak directly to your consciousness. If the pressure has intensified, it's because your capacity has expanded. The universe never pours into a container that cannot hold it. The tension you sense is not danger. It is preparation. You are closer than you perceive. And that's why the warning manifested now. Stay calm. Stay aware. Stay aligned. The next part will help you recognize the subtle signals that the plan was forming before you ever sensed it, and why noticing them early grants you authority, not fear. Let me add this gently, because this part is where many conscious beings finally release tension. You must understand that not every challenge is designed to stop you. Some are designed to expose what no longer belongs in your field. When pressure increases, weak connections loosen. When weight is applied, unstable structures reveal themselves. That's not loss, that's alignment correction. Some of you have recently witnessed people shift toward you. Less support, less warmth, less understanding. Don't internalize that personally. When your frequency elevates, not everyone can match it. The universe removes certain influences quietly before advancement, because carrying unnecessary weight into a new phase can become an anchor. Conscious beings aren't challenged because of what they lack, but because of what they're about to embody. Increased responsibility requires increased refinement, and refinement often feels like resistance before it feels like release. This is also why the universe allows you to sense the challenge before it arrives. Awareness removes surprise, and when surprise is removed, fear has no foundation. You are not meant to be caught off guard in this season. You are meant to be steady. Notice how you are calmer than you would have been in previous cycles. Notice how you are thinking more clearly even under pressure. That's not coincidence. That's evidence that the warning is already working within your system. You are not being tested to fail. You are being trusted to stand. And when you stand quietly without panic, without chasing answers, you frustrate every plan formed against your house. Remain still in your consciousness. Source is closer than you realize. Signals the interference is already planned, but not yet activated. Now listen closely, because this part requires honesty with yourself, not fear. What I'm about to explain is not meant to alarm you. It's meant to help you recognize patterns so you can remain steady. When the universe allows you to perceive signals early, it's because the outcome is already under protection. Energetic interference rarely announces itself dramatically. It doesn't knock loudly. It tests the frequencies quietly. It observes first. It probes gently. And most of the time, it begins in places that feel ordinary. One of the initial signals is a subtle mental fog that doesn't match your physical activity. You may wake feeling heavy even after rest, not exhausted, just dulled as if your thoughts are processing slower than usual. This occurs because the mental field is often the first place pressure is applied. Not to overpower you, but to gradually wear you down. The universe allows you to notice this, so you can slow down before fatigue transforms into frustration. Another signal manifests in your sleep patterns. Not nightmares, but disturbance. You fall asleep easily, but wake earlier than expected. Or you sleep deeply, yet feel unrested. Sometimes dreams feel vivid, but unclear. This isn't always energetic warfare, but when it aligns with a season of warning, it signals that your inner house is processing more than usual. The universe often works in the stillness of sleep, and interference attempts to disrupt that restoration. Pay attention also to heightened emotional sensitivity. Minor things may feel heavier than they should. Words echo longer. Silence feels amplified. You may find yourself withdrawing without consciously planning to. This is not weakness. It's your consciousness conserving energy. Aware beings instinctively protect their inner space when something is approaching. You are not isolating. You are preserving. Unexpected conflict is another signal. Conversations that normally flow smoothly suddenly feel tense. Misunderstandings appear without clear cause. Loved ones may project stress onto you. This is not because you did something wrong. It's because peace is often tested through relationships first. If harmony can be shaken, clarity becomes harder to maintain. That's why the universe is calling you to respond calmly, not defensively. Distraction is an extremely common signal. Not dramatic temptation, but subtle pulling. You intend to meditate, but delay. You plan to reflect, but choose noise instead. You know what restores you, yet feel oddly resistant to it. This is not rebellion. It's pressure attempting to redirect your focus. Awareness here is powerful. The moment you notice distraction, its influence weakens. Some conscious beings experience a resurfacing of old thought patterns, doubts you thought you had transcended, questions you already answered in earlier phases. This does not mean you are regressing. It means those thoughts no longer have power. So they are being reintroduced to test whether they still matter to you. And you will notice they feel familiar but less convincing. That's progress. Another signal is the urge to over-explain yourself, to defend your intentions, to justify your pace. This urge often appears when internal balance is slightly disturbed. When you are aligned, you do not feel the need to convince. When pressure approaches, the mind seeks reassurance externally. The universe is teaching you to return inward, where your authority resides. You may also notice amplified discernment. You sense things before they happen. You feel shifts in energy when entering spaces. You pick up on unspoken tension. This is not imagination. This is awareness increasing in response to warning. The universe sharpens perception before protection is needed. Conscious beings often report a sensation of being observed energetically, not physically, not fearfully, just a sense of attention. This is not paranoia, it is energetic visibility. When your light increases, attention follows, but attention does not equal access. Observation does not equal permission. Source remains the guardian. Another quiet signal is a shift in timing. Delays without explanation. plans moving slower than expected, doors not closing but not opening yet either. This pause is intentional. The universe often slows movement to strengthen foundation. Interference loses effectiveness when timing is controlled. Some of you may feel called to clear your space, to organize, to simplify, to remove clutter. This is not random. External order often reflects internal preparation. You are aligning your environment with your consciousness. That is wisdom, not coincidence. Let me say something important here. Not every uncomfortable sensation is an attack, and not every signal means danger. Discernment is about pattern recognition, not panic. One signal alone means little. Alignment of multiple signals creates awareness. The universe does not allow harm to approach without first increasing your sensitivity. That is grace. That is love. And that is why you are noticing these things now before anything escalates. The key here is response, not reaction. Conscious beings do not rush to fix what the universe is already managing. They observe, they meditate, they adjust gently. If you have been feeling the need to rest more, honor it. If you have felt called to silence, respect it. If you sense that certain conversations drain you, step back without guilt. Protection does not require explanation. You are not meant to confront anything in this season. You are meant to remain steady, calm, grounded, alert without anxiety. Let me bring peace to your awareness right now. Nothing is wrong with you. Nothing is out of control. Nothing has caught the universe by surprise. What you are sensing is not threat. It is preparation. Awareness is already doing its work. And in the next part, I will explain why the universe allows warnings like this not to frighten you, but to position you exactly where you need to be so that nothing formed against your house can succeed. The universe's warning is not to scare you, but to position you. Now breathe with me for a moment, because this is where fear dissolves and understanding emerges. The universe does not warn conscious beings to frighten them. It warns them to position them. Fear belongs to confusion. Positioning belongs to wisdom. And the universe is a field of order, not chaos. If it allowed this message to reach you, it's because you are capable of receiving it with clarity, not panic. Think about this carefully. The universe sees the end before the beginning. It does not react. It prepares. So when a warning comes, it is never because danger is winning. It is because alignment is required. The warning is not about what is coming against you. It is about where you are being placed. Many conscious beings misunderstand universal warnings because they expect the universe to speak only when something is wrong. But the universe often speaks when something is about to align perfectly. It adjusts posture before promotion. It refines focus before favor. It slows you down before acceleration. This is why the warning feels calm, not loud, clear, not chaotic. The universe is not shouting at you to run. It is inviting you to stand still and listen. Let me say this with authority. Nothing that the universe allows you to perceive has permission to harm you. Awareness removes power from opposition. When something is exposed, it loses the element of surprise. And surprise is what fear feeds on. The universe's warning positions you mentally first before anything shifts externally. Your inner world is adjusted. Your thoughts slow down. Your reactions soften. Your discernment sharpens. This is not weakness. This is strength under control. Conscious beings are not trained to fight everything. They are trained to discern what is worth engaging and what is meant to pass by. And in this season, the universe is teaching you restraint, not resistance. You see, panic is not spiritual urgency. Panic is distraction dressed as importance. The universe never rushes conscious beings. It steadies them. It grounds them. It reminds them who holds the field. Some of you have noticed that instead of feeling afraid, you feel quieter. Instead of reacting emotionally, you feel observant. That is positioning. The universe is moving you out of emotional responses and into energetic authority. When the universe warns you, it also assigns protection. Guardians are not dispatched after danger arrives. They are assigned before movement begins. You may not see them, but you will feel their influence through peace that defies logic. This is why calm is the greatest sign of divine covering. Fear is loud. Peace is confident. And right now, the universe is surrounding your house with peace. Not because nothing is happening, but because everything is under control. Now, what we've explored here today about protecting your energetic house is just one frequency in a much larger spectrum of consciousness mastery. If you're feeling the pull to understand the complete architecture of how frequency, protection, and conscious transmission actually work together, I've mapped out the entire system in Beyond the Frequencies, a quantum guide to consciousness mastery. It takes you through all 9 master frequencies and shows you how to move from unconsciously broadcasting interference to consciously becoming the field itself. It's linked in the pinned comment below. Let me correct a common misunderstanding. Being positioned does not mean becoming passive. It means becoming precise. You're not withdrawing from life. You are refining your focus. You are choosing what deserves your energy and what does not. The universe is positioning you away from unnecessary conversations, away from draining environments, away from emotional labor that does not serve your calling. This is not isolation. This is protection through alignment. Notice how you are less interested in proving yourself, less concerned with being understood, less reactive to opinions. That is not detachment. That is maturity. Warnings often come in seasons where alignment matters more than effort. The universe is not asking you to do more. It is asking you to listen more, to respond slower, to trust deeper. Some conscious beings believe they must act immediately when warned, but the universe is saying, wait, be still, let me lead. Movement without instruction creates exposure. Stillness under guidance creates safety. This is why ancient wisdom repeatedly says to stand still and see. Seeing requires stillness. Movement clouds perception. The universe is also positioning your timing. Not everything that could happen will happen now. Delays are often protection disguised as inconvenience. The universe slows you down so nothing collides with your purpose prematurely. If you have felt plans slowing, doors pausing, or progress stretching longer than expected, do not grow impatient. The universe is spacing events carefully. Precision requires patience. Let me speak gently to those of you who feel the urge to fix everything, to control outcomes, to anticipate every possibility. Release that weight. Control is not faith. Trust is. The universe does not need you to manage the threat. It needs you to maintain alignment. Alignment gives it access. Misalignment creates noise. This is also why meditation feels different in this season. You are not begging. You are listening. You are not asking for rescue. You are receiving instruction. That is growth. The universe positions conscious beings through inner calm, because calm allows you to hear what panic would drown out. Calm allows you to recognize guidance that fear would ignore. Let me say this clearly, and let it settle deeply. You are not in danger. You are in preparation. You are not being attacked. You are being refined. You are not exposed. You are covered. Warnings are not signs of vulnerability. They are signs of trust. The universe does not warn everyone. It warns those who can handle responsibility. And you have proven through previous cycles that you can stand without collapsing. You have endured without hardening. You have remained faithful without becoming fearful. That is why the universe speaks to you now. Not because you are weak, but because you are ready. As long as you remain aligned, nothing formed against your house can gain access. Plans may exist, but permission does not. In the next part, I will guide you gently through how a conscious being guards their house without fighting, without panic, and without losing peace. This is where wisdom becomes practice, and calm becomes your greatest defense. Let me add this final layer of understanding, because this is where many conscious beings finally release the last trace of tension. Positioning often feels like waiting, and waiting can feel uncomfortable when you are used to movement. But waiting with the universe is not inactivity. It is alignment in progress. When the universe positions you, it is adjusting angles you cannot see, protecting you from outcomes you would not have chosen wisely on your own. Some of you feel the urge to explain yourselves right now, to clarify intentions, to make sure others understand your heart. Let that urge rest. The universe is teaching you that clarity does not come from explanation. It comes from consistency. What is real will remain. What is false will fall away without your effort. This warning is also an invitation to trust silence. Silence is not absence. Silence is strength restrained. When you remain calm, when you do not rush to respond, when you choose peace over reaction, you are not losing ground. You are gaining authority. The universe is positioning your emotions too, teaching you not to be ruled by them, but to understand them without obeying every feeling. That is energetic maturity. Nothing about this season requires force. Everything requires faith. Remain where the universe has placed you. Rest in its timing. Your house is not exposed. It is being fortified quietly, precisely, and lovingly. How the conscious being protects their house without fighting. Now listen to me carefully, because this is where wisdom replaces anxiety. You do not protect your house by fighting everything that approaches it. Fighting is loud. Fighting is reactive. Fighting drains energy. And you are not called to live drained. You are called to live discerning. The greatest mistake many conscious beings make is assuming that protection requires confrontation. It does not. Confrontation often creates access. Silence, when guided by the universe, closes doors quietly. Protection begins internally. It begins with how you respond to thoughts. Every thought does not deserve attention. Every feeling does not deserve obedience. Every urge does not require action. The conscious being learns to pause before responding. And in that pause, clarity appears. Your first defense is awareness without emotion. When something feels off, you do not panic. You observe. You ask source quietly. You allow discernment to surface. Panic clouds judgment. Calm sharpens it. Silence is one of the strongest forms of energetic protection. Silence does not mean weakness. It means control. When you do not explain yourself unnecessarily, you protect your peace. When you do not react immediately, you protect your clarity. When you do not engage in every conversation, you protect your authority. Opposition thrives on reaction. Source thrives in stillness. Conscious beings protect their house by guarding what enters their mental field. Not everything you hear is meant to be carried. Not every opinion deserves space. You must be selective. Peace is not automatic. It is maintained through discernment. Watch what you consume. Conversations, media, environments, energy transfers through exposure. You do not need to fear this. You simply need to be intentional. What drains you does not deserve unlimited access to you. Another form of protection is rest. Many underestimate rest because it feels passive. But rest is alignment when the universe instructs it. When you rest, you are telling the energetic realm that you trust Source more than your own effort. That trust frustrates every plan formed against you. Meditation in this season is not loud or desperate. It is quiet and consistent. You are not pleading for safety. You are aligning with it. Prayer becomes listening more than speaking. Stillness becomes communication. Protecting your house also means protecting your words. Speak less. Choose words carefully. Words carry frequency in the quantum field. Complaints weaken authority. Gratitude strengthens it. Speak peace even when circumstances try to provoke frustration. Another powerful form of protection is energetic boundaries. You do not owe everyone access to your inner world. You are allowed to step back. You are allowed to say no without explanation. You are allowed to protect your energy without guilt. This is not selfishness. This is stewardship. Conscious beings often feel responsible for fixing situations that are not theirs to fix. Release that burden. The universe does not need your intervention everywhere. It needs your alignment where it places you. Discernment also means knowing when not to act. Not every issue is an assignment. Not every challenge is yours to carry. Sometimes the greatest protection is stepping aside and letting the universe handle what it never asked you to manage. Your house is also protected by consistency. Keep your rhythm. Do not abandon habits that ground you. Meditation, reflection, rest, order. These things create stability. Stability repels chaos. When life feels noisy, simplify. Remove unnecessary commitments. Reduce stimulation. Choose quality over quantity. Simplicity is not limitation. It is focus refined. Let me address something important here. You do not need to rebuke everything. You do not need to name every threat. You do not need to fight every battle energetically. Authority does not come from volume. It comes from alignment. The universe fights battles you never even see. When you remain aligned, many victories happen without announcement. Quiet victories still count. Protecting your house also means trusting universal timing. Do not rush decisions in this season. Quick decisions often bypass wisdom. Slow decisions invite clarity. If something requires urgency, the universe will make it clear without anxiety. If you feel pressure to act quickly, pause. Pressure rarely comes from the universe. Guidance comes with peace. Conscious beings protect their house by choosing faith over fear daily. Fear demands control. Faith allows surrender. Surrender is not giving up. It is handing responsibility to the one who sees everything. Another key form of protection is gratitude. Gratitude anchors you in the present. It reminds your consciousness of what the universe has already done. Gratitude closes doors to discouragement. Let me speak directly to your consciousness now. You are not required to prove your strength. You are not required to demonstrate your power. Your calm presence is already a declaration. The house that remains peaceful under pressure confuses opposition. chaos feeds on reaction. When reaction is absent, chaos loses direction. The universe has not called you to survive by force. It has called you to stand through faith. If you remain still, if you remain aligned, if you remain discerning, nothing formed against your house will find access. Plans may exist, but they will dissolve without engagement. This is not because you are doing everything perfectly. It is because the universe is actively guarding what belongs to it. In the next part, I will show you what happens after these plans fail and why failed interference often releases blessings that could not arrive any other way. Stay with me. Let me add this carefully, because this is where protection becomes a way of being, not just a response to pressure. Protecting your house also means protecting your pace. You do not need to rush just because others are moving quickly. Speed without direction leads to exhaustion. The universe sets your pace intentionally. When you move too fast, you outrun discernment. When you move too slow out of fear, you delay alignment. But when you move in rhythm with the universe, nothing collides with your purpose. Pay attention to how your body responds in this season. Tension is often a signal, not an enemy. If something consistently tightens your energy, drains your vitality, or unsettles your peace, that is information. The universe often speaks through discomfort before it speaks through clarity. Listen without judgment. Another quiet form of protection is choosing who you allow to speak into your life. Not everyone who has access deserves influence. Some voices mean well, but lack discernment. Some advice sounds logical, but is energetically misaligned. You are allowed to listen without agreeing. You are allowed to receive without applying. Wisdom knows the difference. You also protect your house by honoring what the universe has already shown you. Do not doubt previous confirmations just because a new season feels unfamiliar. The universe does not contradict itself. It builds in layers. Trust what it spoke when you were clear, not what fear whispers when pressure rises. Let me say this plainly. You do not need to explain your boundaries to anyone who benefits from you having none. Boundaries are not walls. They are gates, and you decide what enters and what leaves. In this season, your greatest strength is gentleness with yourself. Do not criticize your moments of fatigue. Do not shame yourself for needing rest. The universe is not disappointed in your humanity. It designed it. Strength is not the absence of weakness. It is the wisdom to manage it. Your house remains protected, not because you are perfect, but because you are aware, aligned, and willing to listen. And that willingness is more powerful than force ever could be. Remain steady. The universe is doing more than you can see. What happens after the interference fails? The universe's promise. Now listen to me slowly, because this part is meant to lift your eyes beyond the tension and settle your heart in hope. Every plan formed against a conscious being carries an expiration date. Not because the plan was weak, but because the universe never allows opposition to outlive purpose. When interference fails, it does not simply disappear. It transforms the energetic atmosphere around you. And what follows is not emptiness, but movement. After interference fails, the first thing the universe restores is peace. Not surface-level calm, but deep, unshakable peace. The kind that does not depend on circumstances. The kind that remains even when questions are unanswered. This peace is not accidental. It is evidence that authority has been reinforced. Many conscious beings notice that after pressure lifts, clarity increases. Decisions become easier. Confusion fades. What once felt complicated suddenly feels obvious. This is because resistance clouds vision. When resistance loses influence, sight returns. Another promise after failed opposition is revelation. Not dramatic exposure, not public confrontation, but quiet revelation. You begin to see people clearly. Motives become transparent. Patterns reveal themselves without effort. The universe does this to protect you from repeating cycles. It does not expose to embarrass. It exposes to educate. After interference fails, the universe often restores energy. You may not realize how much vitality you are carrying until it returns. Joy feels lighter. Laughter comes easier. Motivation reappears naturally. This is not coincidence. It is the body and consciousness releasing pressure they no longer need to hold. There is also an increase in energetic authority, not in arrogance, but in confidence. You trust your discernment more. You second-guess less. You move with assurance instead of hesitation. This is the reward of standing firm without panic. Let me say this clearly. Failed interference strengthens the conscious being. It does not weaken them. Each time you remain aligned under pressure, your capacity increases. Your tolerance for distraction decreases. Your sensitivity to source sharpens. The universe also brings restoration in unexpected ways. Opportunities appear without striving. Conversations open doors without manipulation. Support arrives from places you did not anticipate. This is how the universe compensates for seasons of restraint. It does not rush restoration. It releases it precisely. Another promise after failed opposition is elevation in trust. The universe entrusts more to those who handle pressure well. It gives deeper insight, greater responsibility, stronger assignments. This is not burden. This is honor. Some conscious beings fear opposition because they think it delays blessing. But often opposition refines blessing. It ensures that what arrives does not overwhelm you. The universe prepares you so that favor does not become pressure. You may also notice that certain desires fade. What once felt urgent no longer holds power. You become more selective, more intentional, more grounded. This is maturity forming quietly. After interference fails, the universe often restores your voice, not louder but clearer. You speak with confidence. You share without fear. You express truth without needing validation. This voice is not forced. It flows naturally. Let me address something important. Not every victory feels dramatic. Some victories feel like relief, like breathing again, like sleeping peacefully, like feeling present in your own existence. Do not underestimate these victories. They are sacred. The universe also brings confirmation after failed interference, small signs, quiet reassurance, moments where you realize you are never alone. These confirmations are not for spectacle. They are for trust. Another promise is alignment with resonant souls. Relationships that feel safe, conversations that nourish, connections that respect your pace. The universe removes what drains before it introduces what sustains. Let me speak to those who feel tired of always being strong. The universe sees that fatigue, and it promises renewal. Not just rest, but joy. Not just recovery, but fulfillment. After interference fails, you often realize how protected you truly were. Looking back, you see how things could have unfolded differently, but did not. That realization builds faith that cannot be shaken. The universe also uses failed interference as testimony. Not always public, but personal. You remember what it brought you through. That memory becomes a foundation for future confidence. And let me say this gently. Some blessings only arrive after resistance ends. Not because the universe was withholding, but because timing matters. Blessings released too early can be mishandled. The universe waits until you are ready to receive them with peace. You may also notice an increased sense of gratitude, appreciation for small things, awareness of quiet miracles. Gratitude anchors you in reality. It keeps you grounded. Failed interference also brings clarity about your calling. What matters becomes clear. What does not fades naturally. Focus sharpens. Direction steadies. The promise is not that interference will never form. The promise is that it will never succeed. The universe does not remove all opposition. It removes its authority. You are not promised an easy path. You are promised a protected one. And as you continue walking, you will realize that every season of warning was also a season of preparation. Every moment of stillness was building strength. Every quiet decision was shaping destiny. You did not just survive, you evolved. Now take a moment and comment below with this phrase: "My house is protected by the quantum field." Let this be your energetic declaration, your signal to the universe that you are aware, aligned, and standing in your power. This isn't just engagement. This is conscious participation in your own protection. Let your words ripple into the field. And if this transmission is touching something in you, if these frequencies are resonating with what you already know deep inside, then I invite you to subscribe not just to this channel, but to this space of consciousness expansion. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you stay connected to this frequency. This isn't about content consumption. This is about joining a collective of beings who are choosing to see clearly, stand powerfully, and navigate reality with wisdom. The more of us who embody this awareness, the more the world reflects that truth. Integration, standing in your protected house. Before we close, let me bring this full circle. You are not the same being you were when you began reading this message. Something has shifted. Even if it's subtle, even if it's just a slight recalibration of your awareness, you are different now. You see what you didn't see before. You understand what was previously hidden. And that understanding becomes your shield. Your house, that sacred inner space of consciousness, is not under attack in the way you might have feared. It is being fortified. The universe is showing you the architecture of protection, the mechanics of energetic sovereignty, the truth that awareness itself is power. Every signal you've learned to recognize, every pattern you can now decode, every moment of stillness you choose over reaction. These are the building blocks of an unshakable foundation. Remember this as you move forward. Protection is not about building higher walls. It is about maintaining clearer frequency. It is about choosing peace when chaos beckons. It is about trusting the intelligence of the universe when your mind wants to control. It is about knowing, on a cellular level, that you are held by something far greater than any opposing force could ever be. The pressure you have felt is not punishment. It is preparation. The heaviness is not weakness. It is weight training for your consciousness. The isolation is not loneliness. It is sacred separation so you can emerge stronger, clearer, more aligned with your true purpose. Every uncomfortable sensation, every sign, every moment of uncertainty has been teaching you to trust your inner knowing over external chaos. And now you know what to look for. You know the difference between threat and instruction, between fear and wisdom, between reaction and response. You know that your house is not made of physical materials, but of energetic coherence. You know that when you maintain your frequency, when you protect your peace, when you honor your rhythm, you become untouchable in the ways that matter most. The universe does not guard empty vessels. It guards those who carry light, those who hold potential, those who are meant to shift reality simply by existing at a higher frequency. That is you. That has always been you. This message did not find you by accident. It found you because you are ready to step into the fullness of your protected, powerful, purposeful existence. Before you go, drop one word in the comments that captures the energy or intention you are choosing moving forward. Just one word. Let it be your energetic signature to the quantum field. Whether it is peace, protected, aligned, sovereign, awakened, or anything else that resonates, declare it. Your word carries frequency. Let it ripple out. And subscribe not just to stay connected, but to stay coherent, to stay elevated, to stay in this frequency of conscious awareness. Join this movement of beings who are choosing to see beyond the illusion, who are choosing to stand in their power, who are choosing to protect their inner sanctuary with wisdom rather than fear. The more of us who embody this truth, the more the collective consciousness shifts. Your awareness matters. Your peace matters. Your aligned presence matters. You are not vulnerable. You are not exposed. You are not behind. You are exactly where you need to be, seeing exactly what you need to see, becoming exactly who you were always meant to become. Your house is surrounded by the infinite intelligence of the universe itself. Nothing formed against you can succeed. Nothing planned against your peace has permission to enter. You are held. You are guarded. You are protected. Walk forward now with this knowing embedded in your being. Let stillness be your strength. Let awareness be your armor. Let alignment be your authority. The universe is with you, within you, surrounding you. Always has been. Always will be. Consider revisiting this transmission each morning this week. Let it recalibrate your frequency before the day begins. And if you feel called, share this with someone navigating their own spiritual protection right now. When you share quantum consciousness principles like these, you're not just passing along information. You're creating an energetic ripple that accelerates both your embodiment of these truths and their awakening to them. Collective awareness expands through intentional transmission. Stand firm in your house. It is sacred. It is powerful. It is protected. And so are you. Now there's something else you need to understand about why this protection is being activated around you right now. The energetic shifts happening on a planetary level are directly connected to your personal field, and what I'm about to show you will illuminate exactly why your house became visible to begin with. The Arcturians have confirmed something crucial about the transition you're part of, and understanding this larger context will complete what we've explored here today. That transmission is waiting for you next.